Dalton, and today I have the Organization of Exoneree.
Eric, my name is Marvin Cotton Jr.
Okay, and then we'll come over here.
My name is Kevin Harrington.
My name is Kynlyn D.
Okay, so first I would like to ask you guys, how have you started this organization? What was the motivation behind the Organization of Exonerees?
I think it actually didn't start off with an organization in mind. We started off as a brotherhood, just sort of, we bonded through a shared experience
Yes.
of re-entry, wrongful convictions, and just trying to reintegrate back into society.
Okay.
We all had the same shared difficulties as we transitioned out of the prison setting back into the real world setting. So we once we started to realize that our issues weren't singular and individual to us, we sort of started it helped us gel together through our shared experience of difficulty.
Okay, so if you guys do not mind me asking, what were you all falsely imprisoned for?
I was convicted of 2 counts of felony murder, 4 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of arson. I was sentenced to 2 natural life sentences plus 40 to 60 years.
I was convicted of first-degree murder. I served 17 years, 6 months, 2 days, and 35 minutes. I'm the only person in the state of Michigan went through 4 consecutive trials for the actual same case. Ended up 2-person jury. The case got overturned with the trial again, got convicted again, then got exonerated on all charges.
I was convicted of first-degree murder and felony firearm. I served 19 years, 7 months, and 12 days in prison. I was exonerated about 27 months ago, October 1st, 2020.
Okay.
And I was convicted of armed robbery, sentenced to 15 and 22 years. Got exonerated 3.5 years ago, 2019.
How was it to be there for something you did not do? Give your freedom away, to be stripped from your families, to feel like everything that you've done good was put to waste.
I like to describe it being in the middle of an ocean and with one right life raft and screaming for help. Going through that journey, sometimes you feel like no one is hearing or listening to you. Like I'm innocent, I didn't do this crime which I've been convicted of. Because the courts and the justice system really had a way, definitely when we were going through our journey, of not hearing this. Things are changing now. With maybe like the last 5 years, things have definitely been changing with the CIU, which is the Conviction Integrity Unit in Wayne County, and other things working around the country. But we had to dig in. We wasn't going to lay down and die for something we didn't do inside of prison and not make it back to our family, our loved ones, and finish things in which we know we had to do, like helping the community, being dads and new dads and things of that nature.
Absolutely. It's like, he described it like being in the middle of an ocean, which I definitely understand, but it was like being buried alive. For me, it was like literally being in a grave with a bunch of dirt on top of you, and all you can think about is trying to breathe. And a lot of people ask us all the time, especially us four, like, y'all don't look like y'all been through what y'all been through. That's because we're so happy to be breathing that the dirt that was thrown on top of us, we don't like the hell with this dirt. This dirt ain't nothing. I'm just happy that I'm breathing. So we're focused on not only breathing for ourselves, but helping other people breathe too, while trying to help them get the dirt off of them. But when you're in prison, you're losing everything. I lost about 95% of my connections with people in my first year of being incarcerated. That's family, that's friends, that's acquaintance. People give up on you when you're in the county jail after you're convicted. Everybody, just about, with the exception of just a few people hanging there with you. You're innocent, but you're losing everything. You're losing property, everything that you've accumulated and built is gone, and now you're in an environment where your life is in constant danger every single day. See, a lot of people don't think about that part.
No, I understand.
So that's how it is being in prison, and then you have to fight. So you're still fighting and you're appealing and you're trying to learn while your life is falling apart. You're building this new you in order to be able to, stand up for yourself. All of us got out because we advocated for ourselves. Not everybody's able to do what we did. You have innocent people that's going to die in prison because they can't do what we did, and they don't have anybody to help them. They have us now, but we only can do so much. We try to do a lot. I've had people come at all of us and say, y'all could be doing more. If you knew how much we did, you would not be saying that, you know, because we carrying literally all that we can carry.
Or we could get their help for the people, so you could be doing more. Yeah, we
Absolutely.
could if you help us.
But no, it's a blessing to still be alive. I agree, and I appreciate your honesty and modesty for going through what you've gone through, and to recognize that it's a blessing to still be alive. And you weren't one of those people who offered themselves because of something like that. I'm sure a lot of people would have, a lot of brothers would have just taken their lives instead of fighting.
We've all seen it. We've all seen the suicides.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was a fight. It was a constant fight. It was a physical fight at times. It was a mental fight, emotional fight, spiritual fight. It was a fight to test your will. Are you strong enough to deal with this situation? Or will you fold and become subjected to the prison rule, do prison things? You know, you lock yourself into this box that really wasn't for you. You know, so for me and everybody else, it was a fight non-stop because we didn't want to be there. I did 9 years. I'm the baby. 16, 17, 20, you know, so I look at it as it's a non-stop fight from the time that we got arrested. Yeah, we still fight right now to try to make a difference in the community we live in now. So it won't happen again, you know. Then we know we got the critics. Y'all could be doing more, but I mean, we doing all that we can.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's only a few of us.
No, it's okay. I get it. So, do you guys want to share some of the things that you have done so far since you've been out, since you've been home?
We'll start with our president. He as I said, he's the president of the Organization of Exoneree. We all are co-founders. We all say,
Okay, Mr. President. They want to give you your flowers, so go ahead.
I appreciate that, fellas. Definitely appreciate that. So, I mean, we've done a lot. The Organization of Exonerees, we are officially nonprofit status. That was a hill to climb all by itself. You know, beyond that, we've done legislative reform. We attack literally anything associated with reentry. We've done a lot with bringing in our own resources. When we started this, again, there were no resources, right? We were leaning on each other to try to figure things out.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's hard when you're fresh out of the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a part of, you know, some of the things that we've been able to accomplish, we've built in the program for healthcare. We've built in the program for bank accounts, vital documents, financial advisors, transportation, you know, eyewear. We've done a lot as far as reentry when it comes to exonerees. When you look at the way it was 2 years ago to the way the guy is received now, we've completely reshaped what reentry looks like for innocent people coming out of prison. Beyond that, we've traveled the country advocating for other innocent people inside of, you know, prison cells. We stand for reform. We stand up against injustice. To be clear, for anybody that will see this movie, we are not pro-Republican, we're not pro-Democrat, we're not pro-prosecutor, we're not pro-defense attorney, we're pro-justice. And we'll stand with anybody, prosecutor, attorney general, defense attorney, Innocence Project. Whoever's on the right side of justice in our eyes, we stand behind them and support them. You know, being able to make reform visible to the rest of society, right? There's a lot of people in this country that don't think this stuff happens, but it's really hard to look at us and say, this stuff doesn't happen. So, you know, we try to add a face to injustice. We try to add a face and a voice to the people that don't have a voice. We've had a lot of successes, but, you know, we can sit here and brag all day. The reality is the system is a work in progress, right? Our win today is a small win in the overall scheme of things because there's still innocent people inside.
Yeah.
And we'll do everything we possibly can to make sure that we stop this process from continuing to carry on the way it is.
Okay. I would ask for a better mission statement, but that sounds about right.
Let me, y'all gave me my flowers, let me give my respect to y'all. So one of the things that we've been pushing into the last couple of years is politics.
Okay.
We are of the thorough understanding that we can't fix everything from the outside. So he ran for state rep, he was the commissioner, you know, politics is something that affects everybody's everyday life.
Yeah.
And we are, as a group, individually, collectively, we're dissatisfied with the way our government is run. So we've started to pull our own chairs up to the table.
Okay.
We've started to change the way politics look. Because without us at the table, we have people making decisions for us at the table. So again, we are at a point in our own growth that we're tired of asking. We're gonna build our own table.
Okay. I like that energy. That
Also,
energy.
Failed to mention, he's also attorney selling books on Amazon. Right?
Yeah.
Number one, he's a great father, 2 children. I think engineering for it or something. But you know, also, you know, started collectively with the guys with the Exonerees called Rapid City with Love.
Okay.
As far as during the Christmas season, we get coats for any and all kids and toys for Christmas.
It's called Rapid City with Love.
Rapid City with Love. And this year was our 3rd annual year doing it, and it's crazy. I mean, like the cars be stacked up for miles, and we get this stuff out for free. And we started just with putting our own money together, and now we got different sponsors like Macy's and different people come in with our organization to help participate and move forward. But a lot of kids, we're trying to make sure that every kid gets something for Christmas, and so that's what we do.
And we also, all of us, we go into the high schools and speak to the high school students. We go into the middle schools, elementary schools. We go into the law schools.
What has your mission been to do that? By doing that, what have you done?
Anti-violence. We all big on trying to get our youth focused on growing the community opposed to falling into the trap of being a detriment to the community. So we all trying to save lives and keep them out of the prison system. But we go into the law schools and we try to have an effect on the law students before they go into their careers and be tainted by the system. So we try to get a hold of their minds so that we know we're sending heroes that's going to change the system opposed to people that's going to get in there and become a byproduct of what led to all of our wrongful convictions. We go into the juvenile facilities. We go everywhere where a lot of people are afraid to go. We go off into the neighborhoods. The worst neighborhoods and provide resources. It's really no area we don't touch. We try to stay focused on certain things so we all have our specialties. So when people say that we could be doing more, it's like nobody's doing more.
So to give yourself that recognition, of course, and do what you can. It's wonderful to do what you can do. So I know that you have a book published. It's the #1 bestseller on Amazon. You want to tell us about it? What's the name of your book? And what inspired you to write it?
Better Not Broken is really all of our experience, but it's about what I went through, but they read the book and like, yeah, this is exactly what I went through. But I wrote it for the average person like you. You can read it and it can help you with what you're going through in your life. Because I just really broke down different mindsets that I had to adopt in order to make it through that time. But I break down different stuff. You know, a lot of people want to know what takes place inside of prison.
Yes.
Like, what was you going through? What was you doing?
What took place? Well, what type of things took place? What type of things would you never want to mention and you don't mind sharing that?
Wow. What don't you ever want to mention? I want you to mention it right now.
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so when you wake up in the morning, and this is true for all of us, and they can add on to it. When you wake up in the morning in prison, the first thing you're thinking is, I wonder if something happened last night somewhere in the prison that I don't know about yet. Because when you walk out that door, like literally the compound, it can be a war when you walk out of the cell. It can be a war going on from something that took place last night before lockdown. So you get out and you get a feel for the environment. So immediately, your guard is up before you have an opportunity to brush your teeth. You know, breakfast is like one of the most dangerous times in prison. When everybody go to breakfast, like that's where it goes down because people have had an opportunity to sharpen their knives all night for something that somebody said before lockdown.
But that seems like it happens within the communities as well.
True. And it's magnified even because social media, people talk trash on social media all week from a distance. They hide behind their phone. And then they almost feel like they have to live up to all of the stuff that they were saying online. Once they see a person, it's like, it's almost magnified. But prison is a very volatile environment. It's not fit for rehabilitation. The only way you get rehabilitation in prison is if you take it upon yourself to read and study,
Yeah.
and do it for yourself.
And I suppose you men have taken that opportunity.
I mean, yeah, we had to get up out of there.
Yeah.
You know, so we had no choice.
But to circle back to something that you just mentioned, though, yes, society is extremely violent. The difference in prison and society is prison is a controlled environment. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Whatever issue you have, you gotta confront it right then and there. You know, two guys beefing on social media, you can be in two different states and arguing about, you know, something that's totally irrelevant to life. But in prison, there's no escape. You
Yeah.
can't get away from that guy that you're beefing with. So you have to confront whatever that issue is right then. I mean, violence is something that prison is built on violence. And you know, one of the things that to this day I still think is, you know, unmentionable, even amongst ourselves, is death, how much death we saw in there, right?
Yeah.
Your best friend, the guy that you spent 5, 10, 15 years with throughout, you know, the course of your incarceration, you can wake up one morning and he can be dead for multiple different reasons, health reasons, overdose, violence, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's literally nothing. There's no funeral in prison. You're not
Yeah.
going to see that person
Sad.
to mourn in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can
So-
literally go from talking to that person to mourning that person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I understand. You never know what can happen. Like he was saying, you wake up one morning and something new is in the news.
We all became really good at predicting what the next day would look like.
Yeah.
That's
My question for you guys is, what kept you from being one of those people who got rid of themselves? Like, what was your that anchor for you?
Faith.
Faith.
My knowing that my God wasn't going to let me down.
God.
Knowing
You're a believer in God.
that, yes, knowing that I wanted to see my parents, my siblings, and different family members before I left this earth on a free, not like on a visit. So
Yeah.
that type of stuff just kept me driving. I wanted to be a father. I didn't have any children when I was incarcerated, so I wanted to be a dad. That type of stuff kept me.
definitely faith, my family, my kids, most importantly. I have 2 boys, and I just couldn't stomach the thought of them thinking or feeling like I had gave up.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want that energy, you know, in their DNA. So, you know, determination to ensure that they understood by all means necessary I was going to make it out of there. You know, I wanted them to understand that no matter how bad the situation, just keep going.
Yeah.
The same is true with everything that they said. And the thought of dying in prison based on lies, you can't sleep with that.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on that knowing you have to push back on that. And that's what we did. We kept pushing until we overcame. But the thought of dying in prison, and my daughter, that's all she knows, is my dad was in prison. All I remember is him being in prison, and he died in prison.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept that.
For me, it was family. Really me rushing back to my family, my friends, you know, people that grew up while I was in prison, stuck at 20 years old. You know, but
You
really,
said you went to prison when you were 20.
yeah, I mean, pretty much all of us went to prison between 18 and 20. So, really for me, it was experiences. That's what I wanted more than anything. In prison, you know, read magazines, you talk to your friends and family on the phone, and they tell you about the life they live and they having fun. However, I walk into the child hall, eating garbage, when I be eating lobster, you know.
Yeah.
What's the child?
It makes you
The child
grateful for
cafeteria.
the things you've experienced prior to.
Right, it made me feel very grateful for the opportunity that I had to get out again.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why we put the record to do, so that another individual can have the same opportunity which we have now.
Okay, so I do want to ask you guys another question about your mental state, basically. So coming from prison and coming to this new era of life, becoming a father, getting back to your lives as fathers, getting back to your family and your relationships with people. How was that? How did you change? How did you acknowledge yourself change?
It was pressure. For me, it was pressure. Like when I first came home, I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons.
Let me cry. It's okay to cry.
Yeah, for multiple reasons.
It's okay to cry.
Just being overwhelmed with joy, overwhelmed with life. Because, like he said, I went to prison when I was 20 years old as well. And so when I come back home at 38 years old, I'm a grown man. You know, the mother had black hair now was gray. You know what I mean? Like different dynamics and change in the family. Looking at the family structure is not once what it was. You know, and you want to help. You come home with the heart to help, and you trying to figure it out.
But you got to start with helping yourself first.
Absolutely. So what I had to start doing, I had to do exactly what I did in prison. I woke up, I did my spirituality, read my book, do my prayers, exercise. Then I'm ready for the world. So that's what I still do right now. It works for me.
Yeah.
To stop the, you know, because it's chaotic. And we're trying to help everyone else, just like in prison. We were trying to help ourselves get out. You know, the people that was in charge, oh, you're not innocent, whatever.
Yeah.
They laughed at us. You know, so that's kind of what I did for that.
Yeah, my transition was, I was kind of numb. When I got out, I couldn't feel anything. People see me, they crying, they happy, everybody excited. They look at me like they've seen a ghost.
Yeah.
And I could not empathize with anybody because I had been through so much war. 20 years of warring with the courts, 20 years of warring on the prison yard, 20 years of fighting to keep my life, the little things that I was able to hold on to together.
Yeah.
When I got out, I was just numb. So I spent like my first 3 weeks not being able to connect with anybody, so I found myself pretending. So I see people, I'm like, hey, you know what's going on? Yeah, you know, I'm hugging people. Like, I'm trying to appear like,
Get back to normal.
I'm trying to pretend to be normal so that nobody won't be looking at me like, oh, this is the guy that just did 20 years ago. He weird, he crazy. Look at him, you know. So I didn't want to look crazy. So I pretended, and eventually, and that wasn't a good thing to do, but eventually that feeling started to come back. And like him, I went on a date one day, and after the date, I just started crying. I heard myself crying. Didn't even realize it was me. I'm looking, what's this noise? It was me. So the feeling has started to come back. I had started to, experience the realness of life. But I was focused on not assimilating. I didn't want to be what everybody else thought was normal. When you look at these guys, they superheroes. They do so much. They do things that people have never been in our experience don't do. We do a lot. So I didn't want to become normal and do what everybody else was doing. I wanted to get out and actually put in some work and establish a new normal.
Yeah.
So I never tried to come out here and adjust. And I still kind of live my life like that, I think.
Yeah.
So one thing to be absolutely clear about, the Organization of Exonerees, we are strong advocates for mental health support. We're strong advocates. Everybody that comes out behind us, we make sure they get connected to therapists and psychiatrists. We're human at the end of the day. And we go through things just like everybody else. Prison is a volatile environment, and it's something that not everybody can process, right? We all process it differently on our transition, back into society. I'll be the first to say that I've had a standing appointment every week since the day I walked out of prison to see a therapist. I'm not ashamed of it. There's nothing wrong with me. I've never been diagnosed with anything. Absolutely, but sometimes it's just that unbiased opinion, right? Talking to somebody that can't judge you because of your background, your history. So for me, I echo both of their sentiments. That numbness that he felt. I'm still trying to shake it off.
Yeah.
Prison is an environment where you don't get the opportunity to feel. You don't have an opportunity to confront those emotions. You lose a family member, there is no grieving process in prison, right? You pick up and you keep going because that's the way the environment is structured. So learning to tap into those emotions again is a process. It's a process that all of us endure on different levels. His might have been a couple of weeks out of prison, his might have been a year later, Some people take longer. But, for me personally, it was that numbness that prison conditioning, trying to kind of push me into a numbness that I didn't realize I had. You're constantly dealing with men all day. It's difficult to deal with women because women come from a softer approach. I'm used to telling people no and standing on that no, or get away from me, So being able to relearn how to deal with children and women and elderly, that's a process. You can't be as callous and hard when it comes to that type of stuff. So I had to relearn.
Okay, and so another thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to ask, so you went to law school prior to incarceration or after?
No, after.
After.
So currently I'm a Wayne State University student. College was something that I always wanted. Unfortunately, because of the conviction, kind of derailed my plans. And, upon coming home, there was I expressed my desire for post-secondary education. And a very big person in society, heard my plea and decided that he wanted to donate to a major university. The donation was given to Wayne State University on behalf of all Exonerees. We all have access to it. I was the first person to sort of take advantage of the program, and it's something that I'm proud about. Something that I encourage.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Post-secondary education is something that changes the trajectory of society.
Yeah, it does.
So it's important.
I wanted to thank you all for showing up today, for giving us you guys' time. I know you guys are very busy with your lives, your families, doing what you do best to be your best selves possible out here, because it's not easy. And I'm sure your process hasn't been easy since you've been a free man again. So I wanted to ask you, what is the organization to give you the help that you could use, or anything that would be possible? What is it?
Exposure, making the community aware that wrongful convictions are real and can happen, and it's disproportionately aimed at Black and brown people. Have to become involved and engaged in the processes at every level. Me and the brother, we are very involved in politics. They are very involved in politics. He held his seat. I ran for state rep. To get involved on those levels.
What about the young brothers who are not sure of what to do once they are convicted for something they have done? How would you advise them to be a better fit for the community?
Education. Get in there and educate yourself. If you don't have what you need, get it. If you want to take college courses, you can. If you want to take a trade here, do it. Do it. Do not get wrapped up into all the nonsense, the games, or the other things, the fun stuff. Don't get wrapped into that. Better yourself so when you come out here, you can be a pillar community, you can be a leader and not a follower. You can do something.
To his point, vote.
Vote. Gotta vote.
That's something I think all of the world right now is distrustful of the way the system works, and society is partly responsible for that. And I say that from our inside view of how many people don't vote. Right? We suffer from the injustices that are thrust upon us by our own government because we're not doing our part. Right? We have people that are making decisions for us without us, and it shouldn't be that way. Our people that are put in these positions are not listening to the people that are screaming out for help. So voting is of the utmost importance.
So people that you have a voice and your voice matters.
Absolutely.
I would say, like Kevin said, bottom line is about education. If you don't know the issues occurring and how to combat the issues, you're going to be in the same situation we are now as a whole.
I agree. So what do you guys have planned next to do with your organization for the community?
Well, right now we're focused on a case out in Missouri with Lamar Johnson. We've been traveling back and forth to Missouri for that. It's an innocent man that's been locked up for like 29 years now. And we're waiting on the decision so we can fly back down there and show our support.
So we're working on, you understand, television is television. So
Television?
Yes. So some things we're working on behind the scenes is, and if any of the viewers can help us out with that, we're trying to get a series going so we can tell our individual stories, but also collectively. They need to know the real rawness of this. It could change someone's life. We don't know what household can go to change their young boy life or that young girl's life,
Yeah.
or help the parents out if somebody's going through it. So how do we deal with that? So I believe that we need to get this out to the media in series. And we have other series like When They See Us.
Yeah.
With Exoneree 5, we need to get this going in the state of Michigan. We don't have anything like that on a bigger platform. So that's something that you guys can help us out with. You guys have to mention.
And I thank you all for coming out today. Make sure you go follow you guys on social media. What do you guys social media?
Allies, go to Organization of Exoneree, find us on social media, definitely.
Okay, you guys are all on social media, so you guys get connected with them if you have any questions, if you have any family members that you would like to refer to the organization, I'm sure that they can help. Or you all seem like reputable men to just come to for advice and for the things you've accomplished. I'm sure there's a lot of people in our community that would love to reach out to you guys. Yeah, I'll definitely send them you guys' way, come you guys' way as well. So yeah, thank you. My name is Kynlyn. Thanks for coming today.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.